Apparently, according to YouTube, I accidentally did a hatetism. And that's not a good thing to do. Saying those naughty no-no words, you can't have that on YouTube, even if you bleep them out apparently. If you'd like to investigate the evil hate speech that got my video pulled off of YouTube, you can go and find it on my BitChute page, which is something you should totally go and subscribe to. Seriously, get off of YouTube as soon as you can, this place is a dump. Today, I thought it might be fun to pull back that curtain for you so that you can see some of the absolute nonsense that us creators have to put up with on YouTube. So consider this a lesson doing that thing that we so often get told to do. Let us all educate ourselves. So this is YouTube's page about their hate speech policy. Now, in the email that they sent to me, they gave me absolutely no idea what part of the video this applied to. There was no timestamp, there was no quote, it was just, your video did a no-no. And this, of course, was immediately celebrated by the subject of that video's followers on Twitter, because Daddy YouTube can never be wrong. Daddy YouTube can never hand out spankings that aren't deserved. I just can't wait for these people to be held to those exact same standards. Hate speech is not allowed on YouTube. We remove content promoting violence or hatred against individuals or groups based on any of the following attributes: age, caste, disability, ethnicity, gender identity, nationality, race, immigration status, religion, sex or gender, sexual orientation, victims of a major violent event and their kin, or veteran status. Well, it's a good thing that video that got pulled didn't promote violence or hatred against any individual based on any of those things. In fact, I don't think that any of those things were even mentioned in the video. I mean, I mentioned orcs and humans and males and females, that's about as far as it went. What this means for you: if you're posting content, don't post content on YouTube if the purpose of that content is to do one or more of the following: encourage violence against individuals or groups based on any of the attributes noted above. We don't allow threats on YouTube, and we treat implied calls for violence as real threats. You can learn more about that on our Policies of Threat and Harassment page. Well, it's a damn good thing I didn't call for violence against any groups mentioned above, isn't it? Second up is to incite hatred against individuals or groups based on any of the attributes noted above. Again, none of that actually happened. We talked hypothetically about if orcs were savage and unintelligent, but that was a hypothetical regarding a fictional, non-existent race. Maybe that was the thing that did it. I guess we need to do a #OrcLivesMatter campaign or something. Other types of content that violate this policy: dehumanizing individuals or groups by calling them subhuman, comparing them to animals, insects, pests, diseases, or any other non-human entity. Well, none of that happened. Praising or glorifying violence, none of that happened. Use of racial, ethnic, religious slurs, yeah, definitely none of that. Use of stereotypes that incite or promote hatred. Well, we did deal with some stereotypes of orcs, but we talked about how there are many of them, and some of them are positive and some of them are negative, and again, those are fictional people, so I don't think that counts. Claim that individuals or groups are physically or mentally inferior, deficient, or diseased based on any of the attributes noted for the purpose of inciting hatred. Again, none of that happened. Allege the superiority of a group over the... Yep, none of that happened. Conspiracy theories, nope, none of that. Call for the subjugation or dominate, nope, none of that happened. Deny that a well-documented violent event took place. Well, I just want to go on record here and say that orcs can't melt steel beams. Examples, and this is where things get fun. Here are examples of hate speech not allowed on YouTube. I'm glad this violent event happened. They got what they deserved, referring to persons with the attributes noted above. Well, none of that happened, so I guess that's fine. Persons with attributes noted above are dogs, or persons with attribute noted above are like animals. Well, none of that happened. I vaguely compared orcs to humans, which is not saying that people with those attributes are like orcs. It's saying, what if orcs were like people? That's not dehumanizing. If anything, it's anthropomorphizing a fictional being. More examples. Get out there and punch a person with attributes noted above. I wonder if that counts for people who talk about punching Nazis. Yeah, probably not. Everyone in group with attributes noted above are all criminals and thugs. Person with attributes is scum of the earth. Person with attributes are a disease. Person with attributes are less intelligent than us because their brains are smaller. None of that happened. Our existence is threatened by group with attributes, so we should drive them out at every chance we get, and didn't happen. Group with the noted attributes has an agenda to run the world and get rid of us. Well, that seems, oddly specific. Didn't happen in that video, though. Attribute noted above is just a form of mental illness that needs to be cured. Is being an orc a mental illness? Probably not. Person with the attributes above shouldn't be educated in schools because they shouldn't be educated at all. I mean, I'd imagine that orcs in a classroom environment probably would be disruptive, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't try to educate them. All of the so-called victims of that violent event are actors. No one was hurt, and this is just a false flag. I'm starting to think that these examples have just been pulled off of Alex Jones' channel. And that's the end of YouTube's hate speech policy, wonderfully vague, and not a single part of it applied to my video regarding the Thermian argument and the absolute sophistry that it is. But the user, Bear King, thinks they've got it all figured out. Let's see what they have to say. Hey, for the people who can't figure out where the hate speech is, I'm pretty sure it's the part where he directly states that black people are orcs. Something that never happened in that video, not even remotely. If anything, it was orcs being compared to humans, and there weren't black people being compared to orcs. It was just people who are savage and unintelligent. There was a good, diverse lineup of people who represented that in the video. And that fantasy authors would use black people as a real-life example for violent, rapey animals. When the hell was that said? No, it was just looking at real-life examples of people being violent and rapey. The fact that that topic makes you think of black people, I think says more about you than me. I mean, you can call it a joke if you'd like to, but it's literally one of YouTube's examples of hate speech on their hate speech policy page. Examples. Here are examples of hate speech not allowed on YouTube. I'm glad this violent event happened. They got what they deserved. Those people are dogs, or they're like animals. I mean, you can make conspiracy theories if you'd like to. Yeah, it's not really a conspiracy theory to say that no comparison was drawn between black people and orcs in that video. It was just people who are savage and unintelligent. And when Bear King has this pointed out to them, they say, first, orcs equal savage and unintelligent equals savage and unintelligent humans. It's a chain implication, but it's still there, and that makes it no less potent. Which, actually, by your own chain of logic there, proves that I didn't say black people are orcs, but okay, you go ahead and keep projecting your racism. Second, it follows the rule of common sense to me that when you show 3 examples and 2.5 of them are black, that makes specific implications towards the black race. But you are correct that one of the examples includes white people. That example also included people of Middle Eastern descent as well, so just putting that in there. Gotta have that diversity and all that. Even if I were to throw that contention out though, I don't think that changes the fact that he's decrying certain people as orc-like, which is still hate speech regardless of racism. Actually, I decried orcs as what happens if you took savage people and dialed it up to 11. That's not saying that people are orc-like, that's actually saying orcs are people-like. And then this bit is hilarious. From my research, the examples he actually used are indeed from hateful and evil people. But consideration of the overall message, I think, is still important. It was in poor taste at best, and was malicious at worst. Okay, so we have firmly entered the world of hate facts. It is a fact that the people shown there are hateful and evil people, but because they're of a certain colour, we're not allowed to say that because that would be a racism. Here's a fun experiment. Gangs are normally considered to be violent and generally not lauded for their mental capacity. Let's just do an image search, a Google image search for that. Oh, damn, son. Does Google, and therefore by extension YouTube, realize that they are racist? Look at those top-ranking searches. There's non-white people on the first one. I think they're black. And the second one, mostly black. Third, all black. Fourth one, God knows what's going on there. The fifth one, they're not white. Sixth, they're not white, and there's a lot of black people. Seventh, they're non-white. Oh, damn it, there's a lot of black people in this Google image search for gang. Oof. I mean, does Google realize that they're staffed by racists? I mean, come on, how can you hold me responsible for using pictures of people of a certain race when that's what Google tells me to use? In fact, how can Google hold me responsible for this when that's what Google tells me to use? I guess real life and observable reality is just a little bit racist.